We will start it from here for now. Okay. So my screen must be visible to all of you, and I can also see this. So let me go to the preview page first, to the slideshow. And with this, let's just get started about the first thing about presentation today. And it is all based on understanding about how the workspace, I mean, how your environment, how your digital environment, and how your physical environment are getting changed with the help of AI. What changes are you going to see? Why it is important to implement all those things, and what difference is actually playing in the today's life of you and your entire company, as well as daily routines, with the basis facts and the research which we have gathered from Microsoft and Google, from Gartner. So we will not only talking about some random numbers, we'll be talking about the real facts. Okay, so it's open mic, guys, and I wanted you to be very interactive. If you have any question related to AI, because we're talking about the workspace, I mean, we'll understand how AI is going to enter in your work, how you can adopt AI, and how you can make your work done with the help of AI. There's multiple tools available in the market, but yes, we wanted to make it very much simple that why workspace AI is different from any normal AI. So let's just go to the next slide. How many of you know what is workspace? Can you just say simply in yes chat box, yes or no? I'm talking about the digital workspace where you work, where you perform. So let me give you a basic idea about this work. What is Workspace AI? Workspace refers, basically, if you see, I'll make it very simple. It is you can read on the screen, which is available on the screen, but you can just make it simple, understanding that whatever you do, I mean, the emails, the calendars, okay, the documents, the spreadsheets or Excel or presentations or any form of collaborations you're doing, or even if you're doing right now conversation, we are using GoToMeeting. If we would have been using Teams, we would have been using the workspace of Microsoft. If we would have been using Google Meet, we would have been using the workspace of Google, that is called Google Workspace environment. So why these workspace are important? Well, because the security measures are getting more and more tightened with time. When the companies and your enterprises will be restricting all third-party applications. So if you see, GoTo is a third-party application, which is not a part of your workspace. Zoom is a third-party application which is not a part of your workspace. Later, when the AI implementations are coming, these workspaces will get more integrated with their own AI features and your own system. So imagine if one day your company enterprise says that you all are forced to use Teams. That's not because they wanted you to use it. That's because of the vulnerability they've observed in other tools, which can cause problem to their system. Okay, so how many workspaces are leading the market? So there are three common workspaces. That's Google Workspace. I mean, the people who generally log in their official email ID on Gmail, they're actually using the Google Workspace, and they're using Google Drives, they're using Sheets, presentations, and all things. They're on the cloud, okay? The people who are generally using Microsoft O365 are the people who are using Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint presentations, PPT, or they're using Copilot. So that's the one part. Here you will be using Gemini. Now, coming to the Zoho Workspace, which actually got a buzz, and why this got a lot of buzz. The reason why this got buzz because of the Indian government promoting more to indigenous workspace and workplace environment. That's called Zoho Workplace. That is why this has got a very great drift to that. We'll also learn about a little bit about this as well to understand how it is different from other people. Okay, so let's just move to the next slide. Okay, so this is a very basic pre-reference to understand how many of you are using Google Workspace and how many of you are using Microsoft O365. Can just compare yourself immediately here. Okay, guys, we'll take first 20 minutes to understand about the basics about these and why they are important, and then we'll see how these AI implementations are actually making difference in the day-to-day life. You can do it in practical as well with me right away today. So understandable strength and core tools and the best. I mean, half of you people have already aware about this and must be using as well. Okay. The workspace strength of Google Workspace is focused on the real-time collaboration. Okay. For times like using Gmails and Docs and many people. Now let me give a very simple example. This later came to the picture that in Excel you can do collaboration with other people, but Google Sheets had it from very initial time. Okay, this is which is a generic process they use to perform. Okay, so if you go and see Gmail, Drive, Doc, Sheets, Slides, Meet, Chat, Calendar are a part of Google Workspace. So if you're using Google Workspace, your AI would be Gemini. Okay, so you need to be more pro on Gemini to understand how this workspace gets AI powered workspace. If you're using Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint presentations, or something like that, then then in this case, you need to understand that your workspace would be Copilot. So the Copilot is something which is going to help you to understand about how your workspace environment actually gets bigger and better. I mean, I found people have mentioned in the chat that they're using Copilot. I just wanted to ask to the people who are using Copilot. I think Ashwarya mentioned about Copilot and Ola mentioned about Copilot. Can let anyone tell me which large language model is actually Copilot using? The large language model which is actually using by them is OpenAI's ChatGPT. So I'll put in the chat OpenAI's ChatGPT and they also introduced Claude. So Claude made by Anthropic. So these are the large language model. They are actually behind these AI tools. Here in Google Workspace, they are actually using their DeepMind Labs own generated AI model. Just yesterday, they got Gemini 3.0 Pro. We'll also talk about that as well. Okay, so why it is important? I mean, let's understand about everyday work struggle. How many people have also felt about this, that you spend a lot of time in doing the same tasks with the help of AI coming into the picture has actually helped you to reduce a little bit amount of time. I'm not talking about you're using ChatGPT or you're using for pictures or emails or anything. Now, imagine if it is actually happening now. You all know that things get improved with time, and these improvement will make these things much and much more faster. So it is now important for us to adopt in the right direction. Okay, so how will you adopt this? Okay, so just wanted to know how many of you are using any AI tool for we'll start with the email only. How this the workspace environment has actually changed the email. Sometime my risk assessment. That's great. I mean, the risk assessment you're using, Srini, you must use Notebook LM. I will also tell you about that. The Notebook LM is a very great tool that can help you do the risk assessment. The research, if you're using, you should go with the new model, the reasoning model of Gemini, or you can use the Claude Anthropic model. Okay, find technical solutions. Technical solutions, that's amazing. Prerna mentioned about the PPT and research. That is amazing. We will let this presentation, which I'm actually presenting right now, I just made 5 minutes before the session start. And I will tell you guys once the session ends that how I've made this presentation with the help of AI only. There's a lot of AI tools available, but I recommend everyone to use your own workspace AI. Why? Because whenever a breach comes into the picture, you will be the person will be get targeted if you're using any third-party restricted application to just empower your work with help of AI. But if you're using your workspace AI tool, your company, your enterprise will be liable to give answers to the SOC team or anyone else if something goes wrong in the picture. Okay. So let's understand about the digital drain. So what is digital drain? I mean, this is a very common terminology given the process maker in the Oxford. Why? Because a lot of people back in 2021 been getting digital drain because then work from home environment has come into the picture. The COVID came into the picture. People will start spending more time digitally than physically outside of the office. That has brought us into a world where we get more into digital interactions. And these digital interactions has brought a reality that yes, we need something in our hand that gets our subsidiary task done. I mean, how much that has been done? Let's see now. 40% of productivity has been boosted in all the organizations. Let's talk about the big organizations like Microsoft, Google, Nvidia. You talk about Coursera, you talk about Anthropic, OpenAI. Even if you see in India, Accenture is mandatory, and even that Infosec has created mandate. Why these boosts are coming? Because the repeated tasks are actually not being getting done, which you're supposed to avoid when you're working in a workspace environment. Okay, so employer report an average productivity boost of 40% by using AI and repeated tasks. This is nothing just, I mean, this is the source of last year. We are in 2025. Maybe this has been great to 60%. And how it is actually happening in many ways. I can see people have mentioned about technical solutions, emails. It is actually going ahead. But how to select the right tool and how to select the good workspace, that also we will understand now when we shift to the next part. Now to kill this, let's talk about the worst. How many of you use my Google Excel or how many of you use Google Sheets, something like that? Because if you're using for finding solutions, email, you must be using that. Okay. The biggest thing about Excel and Sheet was about to remember formulas. Okay. And to keep in mind that what best we can do in this and how we can just take the insights out from the data. That is all gone with the help of AI. I mean, the AI can now help you immediately to extract reports whosoever has joined my previous webinar may have got to idea about the spreadsheet AI. That is all actually happening. And this is not the data of any random guy. This is coming from the Microsoft explaining that AI turns inside instantly 90% of the workers says AI helps them to save 85% of time and focus their own most. I mean, I am one of them. And if I'll say that, let's just go to one place and I understand about this. Okay. So in this case, I'm using this. Where is the email ID gone? Just a second. Okay, I'm here only. I'm using this. Just get this. Okay. So let's just try for one time for Workspace AI, and I want to take the help of all of you. Okay, PPT and research of also what's a part of that. This is a raw data which generally do a lot of things. Okay, but when you're using AI, you can just use simply your easy button that is here, the Gemini, and can solve all your tasks and all your work. Okay, and that is how we just can use in our workspace environment. Okay, just clear the history of the previous. I will do the clear. Next. Okay, so just this is how you can find where they actually exist and how you can use it. We will do some practical later down the line, but let's just go back to the slides again. So the next thing is about, we'll talk about the next thing will be about slides. I mean, you people mentioned about PowerPoint presentation, but when I say, when you go to a company, when you go to an organization, all the works gets that into your works. Like this time, if I'm using an Infosec Trends ID or any other ID, I'm using Google Slides. I could also use Microsoft presentation, or I can use PPT. So let's go to the PPT. It is something like this. If I have to use Microsoft presentation, I will be using PPTs like this. This is the last presentation we had. So this is again into my workspace. But one day there was a time when we all used to manually build all this. But now with the help of AI, we can use this AI tool that's called Copilot in your workspace. That's called O365. Okay. Here, if you wanted to just build any slide or anything, you can just build right away. With a fraction of minutes, you can do that. And we will see this right away. So we will be covering few amazing tools of the workspace, that is your emails, your presentations, your research, your Excel sheets, and other parts. And why it is better to use Workspace AI, not any outsider AI. You can see on my screen, I'll show you that you can also use other generative AI tools like Mistral or Grok or ChatGPT, but I will not recommend you guys to use in your workspace. You may be using workspace environment of Microsoft or maybe using of Google. You prefer using Gmail or Copilot, and we'll see how. So if we see about this, like if you have a slide of 50 slides, it is very difficult for you to just review and read it. I mean, now with the help of AI, you can just even generate it right away. Okay, environment, it is better that you start implementing that. The next is inbox. I mean, how will you work on your inbox and prioritizing things about it? Inbox, as you can see here, and in this inbox also I have Gemini on my top bar, which can help me to do a lot of findings. Okay, it can help me to find the hidden emails. It can also help me to find out what is beyond my control is actually going. It can also help me to schedule my meetings. It can help me to find what is next is coming for me and what new I can plan into this. It can also, now the next part is that if you go to add the rate, in this, you just immediately able to connect with all the informations you have stored inside your workspace. So if I just click on this and if I'll ask about any information like liquefaction, any information, if I go and ask about this, it will extract information exactly from the information we have tracked there or we have kept there. Okay, these are the tools which you can use in your workspace AI. Or what you can do is like you go to ChatGPT or any other platform, and you just go to ChatGPT and you just put it here ChatGPT, and what you have an options to upload files. Okay, or you can upload maybe your Excel file or maybe your PPT files here, and with this you can ask ChatGPT to give an idea to you. Now, those who users who just mentioned they're using Copilot, they're actually using ChatGPT, but indirectly. I mean, how? I'll show you guys why. So when you're using Copilot, instead of going back to back every time on ChatGPT, you can select the models directly from here. You're using Smart ChatGPT model. Okay. If you're using an email as well, I mean, let's go to here and let me show you in the space area. if in this space I'm using Copilot here, in this you can just go to here and you just have to click on try ChatGPT. When you click on ChatGPT, the model switch to ChatGPT. And now whatever integrations and whatever informations I'm doing with the help of AI. Now, the usage of this environment is your workspace AI. The use here, if you're doing outside your space, it's not at all safe. It is not at all hygienic, allowed in terms of digital hygiene and digital usage. You can use it for your personal task. You can use it for anything you wanted to use. But if you wanted to use it for your work, prefer going to your workspace AIs. If you're using O365, then you have Copilot. Use it Copilot. You just mentioned about making presentation. Let's ask about it. Let's make a presentation on GDP. Oh, let's do it on cybersecurity. So when I say let's make a presentation on cybersecurity, that is amazing. It'll just tile up all the informations I want. I can mention it that I want this in PPT. Understand the file extension type, and we'll start analyzing and building the PPT for me, and then we'll see it just build the entire presentation. A similar thing can also be done on ChatGPT. If I go here and if I put it on the ChatGPT, it also does the same thing for me, and it'll just do the same part. But this is not safe because maybe you dump the information here, and that information can be triggered and utilized by somebody else. So why Workspace AI is important? Just to keep all data safe. Now, when you're using Copilot, if you go and see about the Copilot, all the information stored where? Let's make it again a clear pitch to all of you. So if I go to, let's say I go to Excel, and anyone can tell me where all the data gets stored whenever you're using O365? There could be a digital cloud system where all data gets stored. I mean, if I talk about OpenAIs, they save everything on Azure. But if I talk about O365, if this is a file, if I'm saving somewhere, Microsoft servers, correct. Now, Microsoft servers saves on their servers, and the server saves where? Your enterprise OneDrive. So when I click on your enterprise OneDrive, everything is in your OneDrive. Now, what just happened? The data being getting utilized by anybody, the data being getting utilized by your AI is being getting fetched by your drive, and the drive is a part of Microsoft server. So understand you are actually doing a step-by-step digital hygiene with AI understanding and keeping your data safe. When if you go to OpenAI, I have no clue where my data is actually going, where it got saved out and has been used. But if I go it here in my Workspace AI, it actually gives a freedom to me use it. Now let me go to again back to here on my, this is your Microsoft OneDrive where all your data have been stored. Will I be able to identify in my Copilot? Will Copilot be able to identify that? Of course it will be. Right now my Copilot is building a presentation. If it is doing in somewhere in other tab, but if I click at the rate, okay, so it gives me an agent mode to select my agents. Okay, if I have agents, I can select agents immediately and then start taking work of my autonomously. Now, if I go back, just let me show you how many of you use the prompt galleries that is available. How many of you use prompt galleries? That you know that Copilot has its own prompt gallery where you don't need to just remember the prompt and can done your work automatically. Okay, noted. I think nobody has an idea. Let's just go there. You just have to click on the show more part when you go to Copilot. Okay, you just have to drag it down and you have an option is called prompt gallery. What is prompt gallery? Prompt is a language that allows to communicate you with your AI models or your chatbot to get the things done in a right way. Now, all these prompts are created for your own workspace. You don't even need to write it down every time. You can see multiple types of prompt and you just have to select the categories. So let's say if I have to select a category for sales, I can have all the possible options. I can select my industry, energy, and it will start adding me all the available prompts for my category. And you can even readable and can create it for you as well. Okay. And if you want to make it your prompt, that is amazing. Now, why this gets more scary and very helpful for all of you, whenever you give a prompt to anything like Chat GPT, or let's talk about Perplexity as well, these are the third party, or I call them basically the satellite AI. Why? Because they run or revolve around you, but they never be get owned by you. When if you go to any Workspace AI, they are being owned by you only. You have your login ID, you have your data stored in your server, they're stored in your drive or in the Google Drive or in the OneDrive, which can control you or remember everything. So whenever you talk about your prompts, it starts saving all your prompts here. And you can save your prompts and can later use the same prompt for yourself, not writing every time the same thing. Write an email for me, write an email for me. You can just slack it down to any short form as well. Okay. So we were just building a PPT out here when we ask about this. I think it's ready. So that is how, yeah, this is ready. If you click on the PPT, I think it's verify the link and then it will open. Okay, so all of you have seen this, that it is a time-taking task when we have to develop anything manually. And here in a workspace environment, you can do it on your own. Why to land in any third-party application? Not at all. Never prefer to land on any third-party applications if you have to go for any such type of work. Now somebody will say, how many of you try building PPTs like this on Copilot or in your workspace? You can now start using directly inside your workspace like this and keeping them remember. Okay, so the people who are using Google Workspace, like they will say that, okay, I don't have Copilot because I have Gemini. Not a problem. Let's just ask Gemini the same thing to do for you guys. Okay, the question was very simple. Let's make a presentation on cybersecurity. By the time Gemini will do it, we will do what? We'll go to the next workspace tool, and we'll all just have to go to Gemini. You just have to say it's simple, make a PPT on cybersecurity, and just you have to enter this, and it's done. It'll work on it. It'll build the presentation for you. It'll trick it down for you, and it give it back to you so you can review it and work on it. That's the first thing in any clients and for yourself as well. That's the one thing which actually built should always be built entire the workspace environment. Now, can anyone tell me, is it safe making any such presentations by giving company data or company information by using like Perplexity or Mistral or Grok or Perplexity or ChatGPT? Nikita said no. Correct. Anyone else wanted to call? No, that's absolutely true. Correct. Why? Because you don't know where your information is landing. So it is not safe. Why? It is because it is not in your control. Now imagine, just take a simple example. If anything goes, if your servers gets down in the system, okay, if you're working in the office and if the electricity goes off in your office, will you be responsible for that? Yes, that is absolutely true. It'll be used to train the model. No, absolutely someone. No, you're not responsible for that. Now, why you're not responsible for that? Because that is not that is nothing related to your inputs. But there is an email that came to your inbox, a phishing email, and you clicked on the phishing email, and all the system got correct. Will you be responsible for that? That is called the power of governance when you see about that. That even if you have a policy, if the governance has not been given to all the people like training, informing about them, that can like a problem to them. Exactly where there only this workspace AI plays an important role because they know what need to be given to the employee and what need not to be given to the employee. If anything goes, let's say I'm working on this space, this has been given to me by somebody like Infosec train or given by Accenture or Infosys. I am using their model. They have already built something on the firewall system, or they have built something behind the screen. They have restricted a lot of websites, a lot of things which will not allow to search, which will not allow them to go ahead and look about it. That is exactly where your workspace environment plays an important role. And you should, it is a new terminology that is coming in the picture, but you will see after time, the workspace environment will become the first question, not the application, the work ecosystem you're using. They will ask about the ecosystem. So that is what we talk about. Like in Gemini can also build your presentation. So that's your presentation is ready. And you can see, even if you're like anyone, there's a people who are using Google Workspace. A lot of people using Google Workspace here, like they use Slides or they use Gmail, but they don't use Outlook. They also don't have limitation. They can also use their own workspace environment and they can build their presentation right away here only. If you want to export, you can export. You can download in the local system and you can open it. Can see that how it actually look like. If you want to do some changes here, you can real time do some changes and get ready for you. Is it really helpful to you guys? Okay, so this is the one part which we talk about the presentation. Now there's a lot of things as well in your workspace that's called email. Okay, there's a lot of people mention about the email here, and let's talk about the email part. Okay, so Imagine I have a data here. Okay, so let's make a sheet first, or I have a data here, and what we will do, we will make a document file, and maybe this is a client data. And let's take a client data. For client data, what we will do, I need data of Cloudflare outrage when happened. So just yesterday only the Cloudflare has actually created the problem. So what we will do, we will just copy this data. We'll take a very small data, and I'll telling you how workspace environment works. See, this is very much important for understand that why you limit yourself to workspace environment. Why? Because right now this information I got from the open server. Imagine if any model get fails and it switch from open surface information to dark web surface information, your entire LLM gets corrupt and your data output maybe can let your system hack immediately. But I don't want to use this. Why? Because my system has mentioned what we have what we call, let's we call newsletter. Okay, anything you can call it, like my data. Okay, I have a my data. I call this my data. Let's say this data get prepared by the Nikita prepared called my data, and she will do it in doc or she will do in slides. So I'm doing first in Google Slides. Okay, if you're using Google Workspace had what? Google Doc. The same thing we will also do right away in where we can do it here. We'll use documents. So I don't want that people who are using I mean X docs, they say that okay, Anas, you didn't let us know about that. So this is how your workspace looks here. The tools that you have in O360 if you're using, like Outlook, OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneDrive, Note, and SharePoint all have get linked now with Copilot. So Copilot is your AI assistant. Now this entire workspace turned into your AI workspace. So why you wanted to go outside of this? Just let this work inside the tool. All you have to learn how to integrate them in the right way that you get the best output. So let me try this one part here as well. So let's create a blank, and let's say talk about Nikita is working on the Google Workspace, and we can take for working in Microsoft Workspace. Okay, so the document is getting ready. Okay, got it here. Okay, so the document is open now. What I will do, I'll just name this, and now right away I want the information from my doc without opening a document. Can we do that? That you can look in your models to check, but will they gonna help you over the email? Let's check this out. Okay, so I was working for Nikita's document. Let's say take a simple example there, and we have a participant here, and we got a request, that simple request we got to know. I need info, and just a minute. I need info, and wanted to know when Cloudflare outrage came. So in this case, this is just a short example I'm giving you guys, and the reason why, because, and I'm sending a mail to myself. Okay, so I got an information here, and the information is that wanted to know when cloud outages came. Now at this point of time, I know that I have a file that's called my data, where I keep everything stored inside my system in a document. It could be in anywhere. It could be in sheets, it could be in PDF, anywhere. But if you're in a workspace, you may not to go out. You don't need to go now Google it, or you don't need to go and Excel it. You have everything inside the system. And how will you get it here? All you just have to click on what? Shift at the rate. Now you have to get my data. When you click on the my data, you will get this data out here popped up. What is the question has been asked to you? You just have to click there, select this, okay, and you just have to put it here and see what information we get from here. So can you see this? According to the document my data, the Cloudflare network experienced a significant failure developers on this date. I got my information from my own data. I have not even been to open surface. This is inside my workspace. I have used my workspace data to get my information. I put it on the insert, and now my reply has been sent to this guy. Nikita said no. And even if you try this, not at use. Absolutely. Because we're still heavily relying on the third party or the satellite AIs. And I would recommend to stop doing that because data is the power that actually AI needs. So imagine if, let's say, take a simple example. If always have a hunger of choco chips, okay? So if you are my roommate and you got to know that whenever he saw choco chips, he consumes that. He don't even ask me, he consumes it because he's so hungry for choco chips. The next time when you found me finding doing that, what you will do, you will always try to hide those choco chips. Why do you hide those things? To preserve your choco chips from me. Why we are not doing that, to preserving our data from all those outsourced informations? Because we yet do not realize that it's actually going like that. So this is why it is very much important to start using your workspace environment to get the information out for you. Okay. Now we have done something similar here like my data, and we will save this, and now we will go to Copilot and we'll see, okay, is there anything similar to the Microsoft environment Outlook? Yes, of course, Sammy, I'm going to do that only right away. Now just go to here and we just have to explore this. First, just have to refresh this, and I have to click on the @ here as well, slash. Okay, so what we do here, we'll do the @ and my data. Okay, the agent needs to be here, fine, slash. Okay, so when I put slash, what it asks me, first of all, the documents now, my data. I got this my data here, correct? The question is very simple. Now, they both have different ideas. Okay, I want to show this to you, Sam, once again, because you have this question. When I was using Google Workspace, the call key, that is the call key for you, the call key to any data source is @. When you put @, you get everything you're available in your workspace, your slides, your documents, your contact number, people, and everybody out there. But if you're using the workspace of Microsoft, your call key will be slash. When you put the slash, now it's connected to your workspace. It is not going outside your workspace now. Whatever is in your Google Drive, my OneDrive, it will take everything from here. So let's select the document. I remember the document was my data, and the question will still be same. Okay, now the question is same. I wanted to know, can you take this from this doc? So let's see. Have you ever tried using this? Guys, how many of you, I see a lot of people have mentioned using Copilot. Ashwarya mentioned about Copilot, Samir mentioned about Microsoft, and Ola mentioned about the Copilot. How many of you started using like this? Your workspace, started using your own workspace to get your informations, randomly not going here and there. I mean, remember, if you're using only mobile phone, with only mobile phone, opening your Copilot in your mobile phone, putting slash there, you can connect to your entire workspace and can ask question on any. Look, we have just made the PowerPoint cybersecurity presentation. If I have this presentation, I can ask it what? Give me the summary of this, and it's done. Summary will start, right? Okay. Now my summary is ready. Okay. Now summary is ready. I want to mail this. Get this into Outlook for mail. It will get it into your Outlook for the mail ready now, or you just have to export into the mail and copy paste here. If you put it here, it will edit the page immediately from here as well. Now, yes, we have separate work profile and it gives all the details requested from the work profile. Absolutely correct, Aishwarya. That is very nice. And if you're doing it, is absolutely correct. Why? Because just now I mentioned the example of those choco chips cookies. It's very much important because you're not realize what data is actually taken by you and how it builds a profile. And you can go and check this. I mean, I give an idea to all of you. You go here, and when you go here, you go to settings, and just one tool. I'm just talking about the one tool. You can check this for other tool as well. That if you go here and just to make it, I think it's hidden here. So if you go here and you go to settings and you go to personalizations, in personalizations, you will get to know a lot about yourself and see what things have been stored automatically by ChatGPT. It understands automatically. He loves to ask empathic questions. He loves to ask difficult questions, tricky questions. You will see a lot of things have been updated here. So if you're using such tools, go and personalize them first. Okay, what you are, what is your occupation, how you do that, how much you manage the memory. If you click on the manage memory, you will see a lot of instructions have been saved here. Okay, so you can guide and kept on clearing these data because you don't wanted to keep a lot of memory stored in such applications that start predicting about your futures and talking about how to just respond. But your workspace will never do that. I mean, tell me how many of you use your work email to do shopping? I think nobody does that. Why you don't do this? The reason why, because you know this is my workspace environment. But be honest, a lot of time we have been to these AI tools and tried to get some research done and then copied it and pasted back to our emails of our official email. I mean, be honest. How many of you have done that? I have done that, honestly. Can tell me anyone that how we can identify if somebody has dropped a mail to me and the mail is not even taken by the copilot or it is not by Google Gemini. This email is from the chat GPT. How I can check immediately that? Is there any way? Okay, let's just do it. We'll do it here, but write an email on leave. So I think the mail is ready. What I will do, I will copy this and I will go to my email here. My email was here. Okay, just we'll have a couple of few minutes remaining, and I want to show you guys that I have a next talk here, and I'll just put a mail here, and I'll say thanks mail, like test mail. I want to ask, and I have a test mail here. Okay, and I will send this mail to myself only, and I got a mail here. Now I'll reply here also that I'll ask Gemini to help me write a leave email for me. It will write a leave email for me. I'll get the email here. I will transfer it. Okay, it is here, and I'll transfer it where? Okay, one option. I need one option. I need one option only. Now I'll get the one option. Now I'll put it here, insert. I'll send this. It has came here for me. We also use another one, that is we talk about the workspace. So if I'll go to here and I'll just want to go here, Copilot, and I'll ask the Copilot here what? Just what I can ask Copilot. Okay, we can ask, write an email. Write an email for leave. Copy here. It will do that. Got it. So what I will do, I'll just copy it here. A new email, I'll put it here. And I will put it here. It's ready to send. I think I have taken for the subject. I'll not do that. I'll do it from here. What's the agent risk management cloud? Okay, we'll talk about that, Srini. Yeah, just give me 2 minutes for that. Once I'm done with that, I'll take that part as well. So when I kept it here, can you see one thing out here for me, that whenever when I'm copying it and putting it here, there is a space coming between the header and the baseline for me. Okay, but when I'm just not copying anything, I'm just Control Z this, and when I just write dear, okay, can you see this difference is coming here? Let me go back to show you guys how you can just immediately check. When you see, when I've just written this email to myself, there is no such gap between my line of sending to the line which I've created for the denotations. Now, when I have copied an email from ChatGPT, which was a test email, you can see there's a big gap between this. You may be seen in social media these days, a lot of surface information came where the 90% people are just copy pasting these emails. Even they're not spending time to identify that these are the hidden features can be easily tracked and found that you don't even have used your own workspace environment. Now imagine just one day you got an email, you are an official person, you got an email from somebody coming like this, and maybe down the line that LLM made by OpenAI or anyone get fished or maybe get prompt injected from the back end, and one search has a hidden malicious activity behind a text as well, or behind an HTML as well, and if the person has copied it from there and put it in his email box and sent it to you, you will not find anything hidden here, and you will just automatically open it. The time you just open an email, your system get crashed immediately. That is not science or fiction. That could be probably possible with AI. If your ease can come in terms of your work, the ease will also come in terms of the negative activities as well. So that is the few thing which generally, I mean, I'll say about this. So that's what I'm saying to you. I mean, you guys are the not only users who are using this. There have been a lot of people who have been using these tools, and for you it is very much important to identify these basics of these tools, to look out to identify auditing. Because if you, even if you go with any type of auditing, like, or any AIMS certification like 42001 auditors for implementations, or you go for AIGP as well, you but still have to idea about the workspace, how workspace is actually responding and how it is actually going ahead. That is why it is very much important that you slightly shifting understanding how you can use Gemini. I mean, if you see, Gemini is here for me and it is my workspace AI. I want to schedule a meeting. Okay, I can just schedule a meeting for tomorrow. Not even, I don't have to go anywhere. I guess I'll ask him, schedule a meeting for tomorrow 4 p.m. That's it, it's done. Now it will enter in your calendar. If you see, it will immediately in your calendar. I mean, you don't even have to look out for that. Now, even the Gemini 3 has got the feature to redirect your emails automatically. Okay, now agent mode, which actually allows them to use it. The similar possibilities you can also have in a Copilot. You can build your own agents. Now, agent kit is there for building your own agents. Okay, and you can just build it in a very simple way and a simple understanding. So these are a few guys, I mean, few things which you actually has to start understanding about the workspace AI. That is a Microsoft Copilot, and because nobody else was there for Zoho, so I have not been there. But let's take to Zoho as well. Just a quick peek about that. It is also really similar to that, okay? And there is no such limitation. But yeah, they're actually working. This is an indigenous environment. I mean, see, this is also for the presentation. If you ask that, build, make a PPT on cyber. Okay, so now you can see this is how. Now you can see the amount of content being getting dragged by them is not very much good enough, and it is very light enough. But though they are actually doing something, like this is an Indian organization working on that part. This is also a workspace like this. They also have a similar workspace environment, look and feel like we have seen Google Sheets. They also have their sheets, and this is their presentation of PPT which we are actually using. And if you go to Sheets, they have the sheets as well. Now let's go to their email box. They also have this basic layout for Zoho email options. Maybe down the line when you join any other company which actually brought this matter, if I copy the text from AI in Google Translate and change the word, the space or something I paste in email, is it okay? I mean, that is absolutely okay for us, but the problem is still there. Why you're doing that? I mean, if you copy it from AI in Google Translates, and why you want to do that? Instead of doing that, you can just directly go to, you can start. Have you ever tried Notebook LM? Because you have ever tried Notebook LM? No, that is what I'm saying. That is another powerful tool of Google Workspace AI. You can use Notebook LM as well. It looks like this. Okay, so here you can just start sourcing it first. Okay, you just feed it. I mean, let's say take an example. If when you get feel sick, we have specific medicines to eat. In the very same way, you first build the data sets, like where it has to search, what it actually has to do. You can you can build from the drives, or you can pick from the websites directly, or you can do it from YouTube, or you can copy it here, or just you have to put a link here, and it really worked well. I mean, let's take a simple example. If I take Google Labs experiments, okay, I just have to take, this is a website, let's say take example, and I have to go with this AI to work on me for that. I'll just have to put it here, and I will have to insert this. Okay, so now it now whatever conversations I will do it here, it will under that data set which I've actually fixed here, and all these things will happen here entirely in the environment for me. I can ask that what's new in this, what's new. It'll just help you do that, and once your information is ready, you can share this information directly to your Google Docs or to your friends, to your email directly. and change the word and space for something. You don't need to do that even you have to not work it out here. The reason why I'm saying that this is why, because you never know that space even has, I mean, there have a recent research that came into the picture that emojis can also keep something malicious or hidden behind that. Okay, the agent modes, I mean, the AI agents have actually been getting trapped in such a way that they have been autonomously working and they have not get an idea whether they are doing it right or they're doing it wrong. They just entire mention the code. And few days back there was a mention information from the cloud. The cloud mentioned about that how Chinese agents have been specifically used cloud code to build an environment wherein backend they just use some specific keywords and key information of these key dots, and then they let this all hacking actually happen. So why I'm saying this, if anything goes wrong inside your workspace, you will not be liable for that because you have just using the tool which has been given by your workspace. If I click here, let me show you. This is my workspace. I can use Drive, I can use Gmail, I can use YouTube, Gemini, Maps, calendars, photos, meets, videos, slides, and all. This is all given by my company only. It had there, even the notebook element is also there. So that is why it is important to understand whatever tools available in your workspace, prefer using that. You need to go outside. I mean, if you want to do research, go for it, guys. Use Notebook LM. Absolutely great tool for you when you realize that the data, the information, I mean, see here, there's the fields they have available. You can convert into audios, you can use it in video overview or mind maps, report, flashcard, quiz, everything you can do. If you, let's say you wanted to make Prab's video or you wanted to make Luke Emmett's video, you wanted to make any famous podcaster video into a summary, you just have to put it here, add news source, put that YouTube link here and insert it, and boom, it's ready. It will start taking information for you. So this is a part of your workspace AI. You're not using any tool away from your workspace AI. It will help you to do that part here only itself. I do this to send the application, but I don't want them HR to detect I wrote it with AI. Yeah, that is, I mean, that is fine. You need to adopt this, understand. Like, look, Frax, I want to tell you about one thing real about that. There was an instance in time in 90s and 80s and people used to submit handwritten applications, and a handwritten, I think you must have also done in your college days, in your school days, handwritten assignments that you have to write assignment and send assignment. Now see, the kids these days are not submitting handwritten assignments, they're typing it, they're digitally sending it, they're doing digital classrooms. Now with time, you will see there will be a time come when people will not be able to detect that whether it's from AI or it's from natural generic, because when it comes to the picture of productivity, people will talk about only productivity and their growth. And productivity and growth with safe environment can only be liable to come with your workspace environment. So I'll just close up with this few more parts because that's what we can cover in this small presentation. If you guys are interested more about this, you can go and log into the Infosec Train AI Skill Mastery Program, where you not only be learning about the workspace AI, will also be learning about 20 different AI tools and how to use in safe environment and to improve your productivity and day-to-day life. I mean, I'm telling you guys, when I said about this 40% growth here, it has actually happened to the people who have been using it in a right and appropriate way. But generally, it takes less time to just give an idea about that. So now here, the legacy way and the intelligent way. I'm just coming up my slide to complete this up. So the legacy way was what just Faraz has mentioned, that I don't want to be caught by them. That was a legacy way, which we have been doing since the long way of time. That I will go to office, I will open my email, I'll read one by one all my emails. Now I don't have to run email. I can summarize my email directly with the help of my AI. But that is something which is inside your system. That is an intelligent way. Now the next part is that plan your, could you please show risk assessment, Nikita? Okay, I'll try to do that. I mean, this is not a part of this session, but I'll try to give it last 2 minutes for that if possible. You can give me any topic on that. I mean, Nitika, how you want to do that? A scenario. I will use a scenario to do that. Plan your day with AI and your intelligent chief of staff. Now, when I say chief of staff, is actually working everybody in the big organizations. Like if you go see anywhere people are using it, not they are actually bringing it to the forefront, but they all are using it in such a way. And now organizations are taking it very serious, and they're actually making their users to be get trained on that. Okay, so yes, you can use your smart calendars, text generations, and goal setting. What is goal setting? Goal setting is a very interesting part. I'll tell you a very simple example. You can ask AI to set up your entire calendar or workspace, and it will not let anybody block your calendars also. because you have set up in such a way that it will always pop up you and it will remind you whether some new invites are coming for you, whether you want to accept this or not. That is also now enabled in Google's Gemini Workspace AI. We can use it here. You can go to calendar part and you can use that as well. Now, we'll do a smart comparison with that because we have people here. So we have learned about 3 different workspace AI today, and the amongst few of them was like if you see here, the time when I just open my here, I have a this. I'm not able to understand this. If I open in my PPT as well and ask to give me a summary, make me understand this. Make me understand this. So it'll just right away, it'll working for me to help me. Maybe I need a boss, maybe I need my seniors to help me to understand me about this all. It doesn't need me to help me understand about it. It'll take all the information from me. I can work on that. I can read to it right away and then work on again back on that same part. So we have talked about 3 different workspace AI, and this is the Google Workspace AI, and then we have your Microsoft 365 and Zoho. So Google Workspace, whenever whoever is using like Gmails, Sheets, Slides, or they're using Drive, Google Drive, they all come in the Google Workspace environment. They prefer using Gemini over any other AI tool, recommending Gemini 3 or any AI tool, because when you start using inside your workspace, you get away from risk, you get away from being getting your LLM impacted, you will get away from being getting questioned by any security breaches because you're using something which is a part of your workspace. Now coming to the next part, that is O365. Whoever is using like Outlook, or you are using Microsoft PowerPoint presentation or Microsoft Excel, SharePoint, and OneDrive, you prefer going there. The slash key or the call key for Microsoft O365 will be slash. You go to Copilot, just put slash there and ask anything. Can we use diagrams to get understood? Oh, okay, Samir. Uh, can we use diagram to get, I mean, which topic you want to understand, Samir, on that part? And then we have Zoho. That is the new version of indigenous workspace, which is actually coming to the market. And their core AI assistant is called Zia. Okay, that's they call it Zia, which is not that much good enough. But yeah, you should be have an idea about that. That something is from India is also coming into the picture, and there is actually into the race for a competition to bring it for the future ahead. So something very much important which you can remember. I mean, if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, you can take the screenshot of this to remember that if you wanted to use it. And the next, the most important thing which you all have to remember, that traditional workspace. Go to 2023, you have a traditional workspace, you have Excel, you have emails, you have documents, you make documents, you make email, you send email, you work on Excel, you do Google research. That is all your traditional workspace environment. Still people are using this. Okay, that is the again part of your workspace AI. That is workspace AI of Google. So what you can do, just you will use the entire AI with you on a screen to help you to guide you. I mean, how you can use this? Okay, so you just have to go there. So what you have to do basically, you just have to go to playgrounds. Okay. So once you go to playground, now understand what is actually happening in this window. I have a short of time, but I just wanted to make you very quickly. When you go to playground, now it is a playground for AI. Now AI is doing everything for you, but why it will do without even taking data? Understand? Now you're not sending any data to AI. It will just see what you will show on the screen. You go to live, okay, and you just click on this part and read the chat. You go to the webcam, or you can go to share screen. Okay, if you want to webcam, you can go with the webcam as well. You can go to the talk, you can talk as well, and you use the share screen. So when I go to the share screen, and let me just open one here. Okay, I'll ask the risk assessment on network security. Let's do this. I need image. I have this diagram here. Let's take a simple example. I have a network security diagram here. I'll open this here. Now, where is this diagram? Here's this diagram. Let's take a simple example only. I'll go to this now. And when I'll share the screen, okay, and I'll take it to here. And I'll ask now, it is on my screen, is asking to me what should I have to do. Can you help me to know what is written on the screen and help me to just identify what should I do on this part?
Based on the diagram on your screen, the 5 steps for a network security risk assessment are:
Can anyone
1.
hear the voice
List
that
your
is
net.
coming? So now,
I see. You'd like me to list the remaining steps for conducting a network security risk assessment from the diagram you showed me. They are: 2. identify network assets and data flows. 3, identify threats and vulnerabilities. 4, assess potential impact and calculate risk levels. 5, recommend and apply mitigations.
So okay.
Let me know if you'd like to.
Yeah, I just stopped this now. What do you go and see here? You just have even all those get saved here as well. So
That's right. The previous steps were saved. Is there anything else I can help you with regarding the network security risk assessment?
Not at all, not at all. Thank you so much. You can just quit here. You can just disconnect here. And how many information I have posted here? I mean, I was live in my discussions, and even I can go and see my histories. If you can see and see the professional image diagram I have made here, in my playground, all my history will be get updated here. If you go to collapse history, you can see all my history I've been using here. I have used this picture to develop my profile. I can see where my data has actually been moved there. And I can just go and see in my playground part what I have actually done here. So how many of you try something like that? Even you're not giving any data. You're just letting this entire chatbot being available, not even the chatbot, the large language model of Gemini, that is Gemini 3.5 available on the screen, to read it, to write it, and to explain about it. And not only go live, I mean, when you go for the live part, it will not only help you to just go with screen sharing, it can also go with webcam and real-time talks as well. Okay, so next time when you're doing that, you just need to, I mean, a natural thing is what you just go to Gemini here. We were here now, that you go to Gemini. What you will do, you will just go and upload here. You will select it and upload it here. That is not even required anymore. You don't have to do that. Why? Because you, when you're dumping something, you're putting in the history part. Come here and see here. Can you see anything in my history dashboard? Let me show you guys. Go to dashboard and APEC here. I'm not using that right now, but I'll go to the playground and I'll show you my histories. Click on the history collapse. View all history. Can you see anything which, can you see what the constant we have? Can you see guys here? No, na. So let me go to again. If I that is what this is why, because I have dumped information here. What information I've dumped here? Let me show you. I have first given a picture, my picture this, and make this into headshot and spotlighting backlight. It made me this. Then I ask it change it this, and it kept on taking all those information which I've given to it, and then finally I got an image. That is a part of my history. This is a live conversation. It is something like that. You are talking to somebody over the call, but you have not let the person record your voice. And it is between you and the person only. Is screen sharing for risk assessment document is equal to uploading document? Not at all. That's what I said to you right away here only. Can you see it here? There is no such history about that. You're not dumping your information in somewhere XYZ positions. You're just taking the assistance on that. I mean, any which ways you have to do it on your own only. But you're taking the real-time assessments. You can make notes of it real time. You don't need to just write it down again and again and read it again and again. Maybe I know how to do that work, but I just need assistance of somebody who's smarter to me and guiding me on the real-time basis. Okay, I can tell that you read the left part and I read the right part and let's work together. I mean, adding more people to your hand. That's it, Sydney. Okay. And the third part, guys, I think we have to sum up. Correct, thanks. Yeah. And why I'm saying this, I'm again telling you, take a very simple example. You will never make somebody friend who always kept on getting your money spent. If you go to party, he always asks you to pay. If you go to anywhere else, he always asks you to pay. These AIs are like that only. They are just letting you pay, but in terms of data. They are making you to come. They're calling you come in the form of data. Give it to me. I'll educate myself. But when anything goes wrong, I'll question you only because you came on your own. You came by your own thoughts for your own purpose and you get trapped into that. But if you be the part of Workspace AI, at least your admin will have a control of informing you that, okay, Anas, you have uploaded information which we got alarm to us. Avoid using that. Okay, sorry, sir, I'll be not doing that. This is how you can let your upcoming generations or your peer people to use it. That no need to just go and just dump out. Just be the part of Workspace. They are the same models. Even the Copilot is using the same model, that is ChatGPT only. You don't need to go there. It gives the same power to you. But yes, how to integrate that, how to be in your daily routine, it will take time. It also took me time, 5 years to just be part of here. It will take time to you guys also to be at there. But yes, the agenda of the session was to just make you guys available that integrate AI in Workspace can let you be 90% productive. And everything in your Workspace AI only. Don't need to go outside because then your data will be at one place. I stopped using, I mean, ChatGPT, somebody asked me also. I don't even remember the last time I used it. I use Gemini because my workspace is Google Workspace. I use sometime Copilot because I have my other organizations also using my Copilot workspace environment. So that is how we has to do that. And both the models are very combinedly very good. And yesterday only I was reading the review that Satya Nadella and the founder of Anthropic, the Claude, and the founder of NVIDIA, they all are collaborating together to build an environment. These big giant will always be there to help you. And that is why they built a workstation. Either you using any tools, go back to your basic PPTs, go back to your basic emails, go back to your basic documents and sheets. They are upgraded a lot. Maybe 5 months, 11 months back they were not updated, but now they are crazy enough that I'll give you a very simple explanation here in one sheet. I have some tasks kept here. This was for the previous training. Create a new drop down list. What I will say this, okay, I'll make, if I have to make a drop down, maybe this was a nightmare for me 10 years back, but now with the help of AI, which was not available here, but now it is available here by Google itself. I clicked here and you will see it is available here automatically. Within a second, you will see it will be get here. See, you got your drop downs ready here. You don't need to even go there inside to check what is actually happening there. You got it here. So that is how these tools are getting mature enough with the help of AI, and your entire workspace is getting mature enough. And with this, I will end up my discussion by just adding a line that don't just adopt AI, adapt to it. Just take this line with me today, guys, and